Okay now. Okay. So, one thing you would do different in your new marriage?
Well, I would say I don't really have a particular thing that I plan on doing. It is ongoing that you work on your relationships, and with that, if you want something to change, you have to change. So always trying to be right now, she would like me to change some of my bad habits, which would be, like the drinking or the smoking, and I work on those. But, the relationship itself, you try to be more understanding and more tolerant, and you don't judge. I mean, physician, heal thyself. I'm not perfect, so I don't expect perfection, and nor does she. We get along wonderful. We overlook and we don't judge each other, and we talk about something if it bothers us as it comes up. It's very easy, communication. I'm blessed right now. This was not like my first marriage.
Okay. And what's the most beautiful thing about marriage?
Well, I mean, to have somebody that loves you, I mean, I can't tell you how great it is to have somebody that you love you back. And until you experience it, the explanation would go on. I could write a book on how wonderful this is. Our relationship, our communication, our feelings and love for each other are just knows no bounds. It's wonderful. It's marvelous. I am blessed.
And what's the most difficult thing about marriage?
I don't have that. I don't find it difficult at all. I mean, if we're talking about my current marriage, I don't categorize anything as being difficult. I find love conquers all. I know it sounds corny, but it is our relationship, or you've seen it, and you know what? It's wonderful. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful. So I don't find it difficult. I know to do the chores. I know that I'm responsible for income. I know that I may not always get my way. This is not difficult. This is just part of being mature and grown up, and it's not difficult.
Was it more difficult, I'm assuming, in your last marriage?
It was terrible. We were, first off, too young and too many kids and too many responsibilities, and the love wore out. And when the love's gone, get out. Mm-hmm. I mean, why? You hear about people going through, they hate to go home, they hate to get out. Yeah. I mean, it's a cancer. It'll eat you up. And as the kids grew up, after 19 years, enough was enough. I'm done.
Okay. You could choose for these next group of questions to answer whether, the previous marriage or the new upcoming marriage.
Right.
But what was the most common cause of conflict in your marriage?
Money.
Money?
Yeah. She didn't work. I was overworked. We had too many kids. She wouldn't work. To overlook her flaws, I would drink. And then her problems weren't as big. I was, rose-colored glasses. Didn't care. So money is a problem. And I felt that a family of 5 could have used a second income instead of her doing her nails while I worked my ass off. Selfish but true. Many other things besides she was a cheating bitch. But
yeah. Besides that.
That's enough now.
And besides, I know you mentioned drinking, but how else did you tend to deal with the problems that you guys had in your marriage?
I think it got to a point where I would enjoy not coming home a lot better than coming home. So you start, this is one of the things that starts happening when, you don't want to go home, because why? It's kind of the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Okay.
And like I say, well, drinking, but I'm not going to blame anybody for that. That was my choosing.
Yeah.
Just was, like I say, if I, again, drinking is a flaw. I'm not perfect. And then it's easy to overlook her flaws because she's not perfect. So we're not perfect.
Yeah.
So don't try to make me perfect.
Yeah. Okay. And in any relationship, what would you say the best way to resolve a conflict?
Talk. Communicate. The minute something feels weird, I have a relationship right now, something feels weird, even what's for dinner, you talk, we have that, and I hear the same, and it's just right there before it even festers into anything, it disappears. Communication, open communication on all things.
And in your previous marriage, how often did you guys argue?
Well, 19 years, I would say that for 9 years it was just little things, and 15 years, maybe they're a little bit more, but near the end it was every time she moved her lips we were arguing.
Okay. And did you ever argue in front of the kids?
Yes, unfortunately, one of my sins that I've learned not to do. But also in this new relationship, we don't argue. And it's the weirdest thing, it's why I'm so lucky. We really don't argue. I can't even think of, we may disagree, but we do not argue.
And what was the biggest argument you could remember in either relationship?
She cheated on me. I would think that was a big argument there.
Definitely. Okay, and the next question is what was the outcome, but I'm assuming...
We broke up. I'm done, get out.
Yeah, okay. And in general, who generally started or brought up the conflict in the marriage?
Equal.
Pretty equal?
Yeah, equal. When you grow apart, there is nothing you like about your partner. Not the way she eats or combs her hair or gets dressed. When you break apart, you don't like anything. And that's not a good way to spend your life.
Yeah.
Get out.
Okay. Do you generally think that your point of view was taken into consideration
Back
when a disagreement came up?
Sometimes. But again, when we grew apart, there was nothing in our relationship, so it's like an outsider making a comment about your life. It's like you have no business even talking to me or anything I would say. I mean, to her it was like, what do I care?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just a bad marriage that went bad, and it was not pleasant.
And how did you voice your opinion during conflict?
Both quietly, smartly, loudly, whatever, it got into. Yelling and cussing was just this terrible thing that we did in front of the kids. It wasn't in front of the kids, but the kids could hear us. And if they happened to come in or were there, it really didn't matter at that point. It was attack time. It was bad. Happy to still have the relationship with my kids I have.
That is good. All right, so I think that's all the questions we
Sweet.
have.